In this class, I'll be teaching you how to calculate and sew a 720 degrees flay with pleats. So you are going to learn how to calculate your pleating allowance. So here you can see the 720 degrees flay I made ready to be attached to a blouse, and you can see it has beautiful pleats. So if this is what you want to learn in this class, I will encourage you to stay till the end of this tutorial to learn how you can calculate and sew your 720 degrees flay. To start off this tutorial, we are going to have a little calculation on how to achieve these beautiful pleats on a 720 degrees peplum. So when we talk about 720 degrees peplum, we are simply talking about two circles, two full circles like this. So these two full circles we have, one is 360, a full circle is 360 degrees, and the other. So when you add them together, it will give you 720 degrees. So this is what we are talking about in this tutorial. But for this particular class today, we want to add pleats to this 720 degrees. So how do you achieve it? So if you are making a 720 degrees, we are going to use our waist line. You'll find your waist line. So the waistline I'm working with here is 39. Okay. So since I'm working with waist 39 inches, I'm working with waist 39 inches. So since we have two circles here, what we are going to do is to first divide our waist circumference. So I'm going to divide my waist circumference by 2 because we are working with two circles. Okay, we are going to add two circles together under this waist. So we are going to divide this waist by 2 inches. That is the first. So because we are making 720 degrees peplum, we are going to divide the waist by 2 because we have two circles. So on this waistline, which is 39, we are going to add two circles to make it 720 degrees. So now 39 divided by 2 will give me 19.5. So if you look at these two circles, when we join them, they are going to be a seam allowance for both of them, which is half an inch for one. So I'm going to, since we've divided by 2, I'm calculating for only one of this circle. So one of this circle is now 19.5, okay? Because I divided by 2. So I'm going to add joining allowance is 0.5. Then I'm going to add zipper allowance for 1, which is 1. So the total of everything I have here is 21. So 21 inches is now the circumference of one circle, which we are going to calculate right now. So this 21 inches, note that there is pleating allowance. The essence of this tutorial today is to show you how to add your pleating allowance, okay, for a 720 degrees flay. So sometimes if you don't want to cut 720 if you want to cut 720 with a pleat, this is how to go about it. So after you have gotten for one circle, you pick up the figure of the circumference of the one circle, which we've gotten now as 21 inches, multiply by 2 inches. Okay, you can multiply by 2 inches, you can multiply by 2.5, you can multiply by 3 inches, depending on how much you want the pleats to be. But for this particular class, we are multiplying only by 2 inches because the pleatings are just going to be box pleated at the center, and we'll just keep pleating on the side till we get to our waistline. So if you want to do general box pleat, you can multiply by 3. I believe you understand my explanation. So now this 21 inches, which is for one circle circumference, we are going to multiply by 2. That is the pleating allowance. The pleating allowance. So 21 multiplied by 2 will give us 42 inches. So our new circumference, which we are going to use including our pleating allowance is 42 inches. So now 42 inches, I'm going to divide it by 6.28 to get the radius of this circle. This is the radius of this circle. So to get the radius of this circle, simply divide this 42 by 6.28. So if I do that, I'll be having 6 inches. Okay, I'll be having about 6.6 inches, but I'll just eliminate the 6 inches and use 6 inches, because many a times when you cut the circle of your flay, it tends to have an excess. So I don't usually add the extra inches attached to it. So I'm working with reduced 6 inches. So now we are going to fold our circle right now. Since we have gotten our radius is 6 inches, length of flay is going to be 8 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance. I'm going to cut it on paper, so I'm adding my seam allowance as well. So I'm working with this figure 6 and 9. So let us cut. So here I have folded the first circle, and now I'm folding the next circle. You can see that I'm folding the next circle. So now I'll go ahead to do this. I'll measure my radius on this paper. My radius is 6 inches. 6 inches. So this is the radius at 6 inches. Now I'll pretend the length I have here, because my paper is short, so the length I'm working with here is 9 inches. So but I'll just take this as 9 inches. So what I have here is 4.25, but I'm going to use it 4.25. When I place on fabric, I'm going to extend the line. So this is going to serve as the circle. So I just go ahead and cut what I have here. So after cutting it, I'll place this on fabric first. Okay, so you see how I use this to place on fabric. So now I come with my fabric. So I'm going to fold my fabric right away. Right now I'm done folding my fabric just exactly the way I folded my paper. So this is 360 flay we are cutting right now. So you can see the open part of the paper has to match with the open part of the fabric, and the folded part has to match before you pin. So here I've made sure they've matched, and here I'm pinning them right away. So make sure the open part of the fabric and the open part of the paper matches. So now the radius is 6 inches, and now we are going to take the measurement of the length of this flay. So the length of this flay, I'm working with 9 inches. So from the 6 inches radius, keep marking your 9 inches. 9 inches. So this 9 inches includes my seam allowance of 1 inch for sewing up and down. So I'm going to cut at that length of my flay, 9 inches. So I'm cutting only for one circle. So I'll just simply go ahead and cut at that radius of 6 inches, including the paper and the fabric. Just cut out everything together. So I use paper to make this cutting easy for us. So now this is one circle, like I said, but we are going to cut 2 circles. So that means I'll be placing this particular one I've cut on my fabric. So I've folded my fabric again, and I'm going to also place it accordingly. Make sure you are very careful of your placement. So the folded part and the open part, I will also bring in the one I cut and place them accordingly. So you can see the folded and open part. So I have to turn it the other way around because that is where I have the open part and the folded part, so it matches very well. So my radius remains 6 inches, as you can see. So I just go ahead and cut out the circle. So after cutting out the circle, I have 2 circles right now, and I'm going to cut out the radius accordingly. So I'm done cutting. This is what I have. So you can see I placed it very well. So now I will go ahead to take off my piece of paper now. So I place my lining below it. So you just make a little notch on it and then start cutting out the circle of the line. So I spread the circle actually very open. I spread it open and placed on a plain fabric to cut out my lining. So here you can see what we have. We have both lining and fabric, and I have my pins on it. So this is the wrong side of the lining and wrong side of the fabric. So I'm done hairstaying the 2 circles. So just go ahead and hairstay just like I did, match them together, and now separate the 2 circles. So this is exactly what I did. I separated the 2 circles so we can be able to join. So I'm going to pick up the fabric part of the other circle and match it together with the fabric part of the other circle. Then I'll also pick up lining part of the other circle and match them together, and I'll go ahead to the sewing machine to stitch them. But before I do that, I'm going to secure with my pin as well. So I will sew them at 0.5 inch, and I'm going to give it a good press as well. So here I'm still pinning it to make sure it is easy for me to stitch once I get to my sewing machine. So you can see I hairstayed it. Make sure you also hairstay. After joining it and giving it a good press, this is what I have. So you can see it right there. So now we will go over to the machine to stitch the both together and turn. So I will start my stitching from here, but I'm going to use my crinoline, and I will use my hemming gum to place on it. So let's go and stitch. Right on the sewing machine, I want to show you how to sew this. So our crinoline is going to be on top of the lining. So I have already pinned all around the circumference of this flay. So I'm using my 3 inches crinoline, and I'm going to place this crinoline right on top of the lining. Make sure you place it right on top of the lining, and then give a space of 0.5 inch from the zipper line and place your hemming gum. So here I have my hemming gum, and I'm going to stitch at 0.5 inch. So when you are sewing this flay, please don't drag the crinoline. Allow the crinoline to have its natural course. So I will keep stitching and stitching till I get to the end. So I'm sewing at 0.5 inch from one end of the crinoline of the flay to the other end of the flay. And I'm stitching the down part of this flay. Please take notes. The down part of it, that is where I'm stitching. So I will stitch till I get to the end of this crinoline. So like I earlier said, you don't need to drag the crinoline. It looks quite very soft. The tendency of dragging it might be there, but please don't do that. So I'm cutting off before the zipper line. So after stitching, I'm going to flip all my seams to the part of the lining and top stitch. So I'll open up the 2 flare like this and flip my stitches to the part of the lining, and I'll go ahead and top stitch on top of it, as you can see. So I'm going to run my top stitches from one end of the flare to the other too. So what the top stitching does for us is it helps the lining to lay nice and flat at the end of the day. So I'm almost getting to the end of this top stitching, So I'm taking my time to do that. So once I get to the end, I'll backstitch. So here, this is what I have. I'm going to place a piece of fabric with steam. If you have a steam and iron, nice and good. So make sure you iron from one end to the other, nice and flat. So I'll take my time with my hot iron and plain fabric and iron my peplum very well. So after ironing it, this is what we have. Okay, so since it has a pleating allowance, we have to calculate the pleatings right away. So here I'm calculating it from the center. So from this center I measured 4 inches and I mark. I'll measure another 4 inches and mark. I'll keep going 4 inches and mark 4 inches. So let me stop at that. After pleating, we'll continue marking. From the center again, I'll measure another 4 inches. 4 inches. I'll measure another 4 inches. Another one, 4 inches. So after marking the 4 inches, we'll come back to the center again. Then we are going to pick this center to meet this 4 inches like this. Then you secure with your pin this way, because the pin will be right there, so you pin in this direction. This other 4 inches, you pick it, but because it's a box split, you also bring it this way. You bring it to kiss this one. So you secure with your pin. So if you look at it here, you can see it will form a kissing pleat for the back. Okay, so later I'm going to also arrange it very well before we stitch. So after pleating the first 4 inches, I'm going to pick up the next 4 inches to match up the next 4 inches in this direction. So make sure you kiss it well in this direction. Then you secure with your pin. Then the next 4 inches, I'll match it up like this in this direction and secure with my pin. So the next 4 inches, I'll pick it and match it up to and secure with my pin. So now, this is where we have the kissing pleat, is the center front. Okay, sorry, the center front, yes, is the center front. So I'm going to measure from that part. Remember, we are working with waist 40, so half should be 20. Waist 39, sorry, plus 2 inches zipper allowance will give us 41. So half should be 21 or 20 and half. 20 and half. So here I have 22. So this is 20 and half. So if I have to pleat another one, it's going to shorten the flare and it's not going to be equal. Okay, so but I don't want to cut off here, so I'll just find a way around it. I'll just find a way around it when stitching it. So but the point of it is that from this center I was able to get 20 and half. So what I have left is just a little thin. Okay, so maybe I'll push this one a little in, so I'll just push it a little in just to make sure I have my measurement completed without cutting this. So when making your peplum, please make sure you don't cut off anything, because it will make the shape look somehow. So I'll take the measurement again. So here we have 19.5. So I'll keep adjusting it. Till I get exactly the 20.5. So that is what I'll do off camera till I get 20.5. Okay, so I'll come over here and I'll start pleating in this direction. I'll pick this to the 4 inches. I'll practically repeat the same process I did right here. So here you can see I'm done pleating them. So you can see the pleats we have. So if you don't want your 360 720 degrees peplum to attach it that way, you can go ahead and pleat it. It gives a more beautiful look. So now the next thing you do is to ensure that your measurement is correct. So from this center, where I have my kissing pleat, which is the center front, my waist is 39 plus 2 inches zipper allowance is 41. Then divide by 2, because I'm measuring from the center front, will give me 20.5. So I have 21 here. Then from here, I'll also measure. At least you need to have 21 or 20.5. Okay, 21 is okay. I have 21, so you can see they are equal. So to attach it to the dress, you just go and stitch on it and remove your pins and attach them. So if I put it together now, this is the center front where we have the kissing pleat. You can see what we have. So this is actually looking very, very beautiful. So this is how we come to the end of this tutorial. So I believe you learned a lot from this tutorial. Okay, so if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you once again. See you in the next class. Bye.